Hello, friends. Welcome back to the bench. Now, as you probably deduced from the title, I did nail the interview. Now, let me just tell you about the interview. It was not what I expected, and as you can see, I'm not really jumping around just yet. And well, let me tell you about all that. So, typically, what those interviews look like, or what I was expecting, a coding interview. It's usually, the guy joins in and presents you with a problem, coding problem, and it's usually kind of a problem that has multiple potential solutions, and some of them are efficient, some of them are not. And once you provide some solution, then you discuss the solution and potentials for improving it, describing its time-space complexity, and that kind of stuff, basically. Right. So it's very interactive, and it's basically kind of like pair coding, pair programming. And sometimes you get pointers, like you used a hash map over here. What would happen if you used hash table? And with the understanding that hash table is better at concurrency and more efficient, right? Or you just need to write an algorithm to find the collision in the linked list, right? And again, there are several methods to achieve that, and each one of them comes with its own pros and cons, basically. But that's not what it was. The interview format I would describe as kind of a, if you meet your old friend from high school you haven't seen for 20 years, and you meet them at the bar. You drink a couple of beers and you talk about what you've been working on, and some fun challenges, some projects you've been working on, and that kind of stuff. So it was kind of that kind of format. Very nice guy on the other side, and the first how it started, or call it the first question, is obviously open-ended. Just introduce yourself, what have you been working on, and challenges, projects you've been involved in, and that kind of stuff, right? So I spent about half an hour, being relatively bubbly, and I can spend hours talking about my projects and technology and all that kind of stuff, right? Um, After that phase, after that half an hour, I actually got a pretty big, pretty nice confidence booster. And that's pretty much what this interview was. It was just a big confidence booster. Effectively, I'm in the same place I was yesterday and a week ago and 2 weeks ago. Or maybe roughly, but I don't have anything substantial just yet. Meaning, I passed, and I don't know if they just do the binary pass or fail, or they write some notes, or perhaps put you on the scale of competency. I don't know. But the big confidence boost came from after that. After that half an hour, the guy stopped and said, like, why are you not interviewing for Microsoft or Google? Those with your knowledge and experience, I feel like those companies should be fighting over you. Who's gonna hire you? Um, to which I said, yeah, I did apply to Microsoft, and I didn't even get an interview. I just got plain rejection for a senior engineer. Right? They didn't even invite me for an interview. To which, funnily, The guy answered, or the guy said that if you can't get a job at Microsoft, then there's no way I can ever get a job over there. you know, Again, a big confidence boost, sure, but if you look at it, then you know, obviously they're not looking, or they don't have the ability to actually find the top 1%, which I know I'm not, right? I was kind of expecting that this would be a level of interview to identify a top 1%, and I was expecting either a fun coding challenge or some more intricate questions like binary trees and you know more complex data structures and efficiency concerns and stuff like that. Basically, to score 100% on the codility test, which I have never achieved myself. What was it, 90, 92 or something? That was my highest score ever, right? And usually I'm pretty happy with like 80 some percent. I'm happy with that score. So obviously they don't have tools or ability to find people like that. So it's not, it was described on the website that top 1%, but it's nowhere near that. So the fact that I passed the interview doesn't really mean that much, right? I mean, it's a good step. I'm happy with it and everything, but it's not what I envisioned. So after that, the technical questions. So what were the technical questions? Again, after half an hour of me talking about the projects and challenges I had and projects I worked on and problems I had to solve and how I solved them, since I started in '97, so I have a lot to talk about if I need to, and I worked with many technologies. But the actual technical questions, object-oriented concepts, object-oriented programming concepts, meaning inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. So I used the example of the solution I came up with for a specific problem at work, and how I made it polymorphic and in the effort to make it readable and nicely maintainable and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty much my answer, and yeah, it covered the entire subject of object orientation. And the question was posed basically like, well, imagine I'm starting in PHP, and explain to me the object orientation and polymorphism and stuff like that. So relatively basic, obviously. Then Composer, right? Basically package management and how it works and drawbacks and pretty much all stuff like that. Again, very basic, right? Even if you don't understand how Composer works, and you have been using it, so in either case you have something to say about it. But again, I have plenty of, maybe not plenty, but I have some packages published, some libraries that I worked on. One more I forgot, the dependency injection, right? So the basically PSR container and registering services as multi-instance, singletons, deferred services or deferred factories, that kind of stuff. So again, basics, relatively basics. Maybe not junior level, because I don't expect juniors to be able to explain how PSR container works. And me, on the other hand, I've written my own framework where I implemented PSR container myself, and actually the whole framework is zero dependency, so I had to implement according to PSR interfaces everything from requests through dependency injection handling and cache, file system, everything, right? Every single thing was implemented by me from scratch, zero dependencies. Which is, I'm not saying that this is something that is valuable in any way, meaning I do not recommend anyone to use my framework. I don't want to get into that too much, but basically, having that experience of implementing it from scratch, gives me the good understanding how this whole thing works under the hood. And that's pretty much why I started writing that framework. It's kind of a just nice exercise. So these were pretty much the technical questions, and the person was actually interested in electronics, so we kind of talked about electronics a little bit. In addition, it took the entire hour. It was scheduled for an hour, and we used every single minute of that hour. As I said, overall, great experience, because sometimes you meet someone and you just kind of immediately click right after a few sentences. And this was kind of this kind of experience. Very nice. And then the results went to the lady that's handling this whole stuff. I sent my resume again, although I thought she already had my resume, but well, that kind of threw me off. Like, did I apply for this job, or did you guys find me and you don't even have my resume? Which is fine. That's, don't get me wrong, I'll appreciate that. I'm not gonna complain about that one bit. But at this point, my resume went to the actual company, right? So I'm technically certified by this company. I don't know how much that certification actually means, because I was added to Slack. Slack is a free version of Slack. And I'm kind of hoping that they have two Slacks, one for the community and one for the employees. If not, well, I understand Slack is expensive. It's crazy expensive. And yeah, I have my own, free server on Slack as well. And yeah, I don't pay for Slack because it's crazy expensive if you want, especially since there's, I think, around 2,000 people on that Slack. I don't remember. Was it 2,000? I don't remember. Some decent number. There is also a channel where the pictures are posted when people are getting the positions, getting the job, and they get a cake from this company, like congratulations cake, basically, right? And all kinds of cakes. And as far as the frequency of those posts, it's actually pretty decent. I counted like roughly around 4 a month, 4 maybe 5. So looks like every week someone is landing a job from them, right? So that sounds relatively optimistic. But as I said, I'm in the same position I was yesterday and a week ago, because right now it's just my resume that goes to that company. Now I don't know how much value does this company hold with that target company, meaning do they reach out to this company among other ones, so they cooperate with multiple companies trying to find a talent, or they work with them exclusively, so they don't work with other companies, and whether they work with this company but on top of that they post the job listings themselves, and whichever one is quicker, or it's just exclusive cooperation with them. If it's exclusive relationship they have, that's good. That would be very good, because that gives me good abilities. Now the interviewer also told me that there might be another technical interview with them, and definitely a cultural fit interview, right? This is actually the one that I'm kind of worried about, because it's, it's non-technical, and I don't really know how to interview for those purposes, like what they're looking for. I don't really have any pointers. I don't know what they're looking for, when they are interviewing someone in cultural fit interview. I don't know what exactly they're looking for, what is important. So it's kind of that worries me a bit. It all kind of depends how badly they need someone, right? And what they actually expect, and from the technical perspective, right? That's where I shine with the technicals, but I'm not exactly a cultural fit anywhere. I don't think. The job is remote, so I don't know how much that actually means to be a cultural fit. I'm a kind of person that I don't really like all those company events and activities and that kind of stuff. I'm kind of just get my work done and go home, spend time with the family. Right? That's why I usually don't interview for companies that call themselves family. Right? Like, yeah, you can join our family. No, thank you. I already have a family. I'm looking for a job. That's kind of my approach. So that might be a problem. I'll probably need to keep that, kind of politically correct, right? Don't share too much. Don't express too many opinions. And I am opinionated, obviously, but I don't think that would stand in the way of me getting the job done. And throughout my career, I mishandled a lot of interactions with other employees, my management, and all that stuff. So, I'm not expecting a blunder, but I have had those in the past. So I just kind of look at it through those glasses, the reality glasses, that this might be an issue with me. I don't always fit everywhere, and I consider myself rather easygoing, especially now, right? But I have not been that much in the past, so I don't know. I'm kind of worried about those, but um, at this point, the lady said that it's gonna be around a week until we hear back from the target company, which means it's gonna be another few days. So maybe next week, probably not. Maybe end of week next week or the following week, I'll have some interview with the actual company. So what I achieved so far is not much. Not nothing to write home about yet. But the main benefit of this whole thing was the feedback I got from the interviewer. And that kind of shows me that this is what they always talk about, the experts in HR and hiring and stuff, that it's your resume, because no one, it doesn't matter how well you interview. And based on my interview with here yesterday, I can conclude that I interview well, or at least well enough to appear valuable and to pique the interest of the employer. But it doesn't matter how well you interview if no one will interview you. And no one will interview you if your resume doesn't pique interest. Before, it wasn't a problem, because in either case they would transform my resume into their format, the hiring or the talent finding companies would just alter my resume to fit the format that the target company is looking for. And if not that, you would always get an interview either way, right? No matter what your resume was like. And there were a lot of jobs too. Now, since there is not a lot of jobs and the bar is a lot higher than it was, now it actually makes good sense, or perfect sense, to optimize your resume, because without that you don't even get your shot. And that was probably my limitation when I applied for Microsoft. Indeed, if I got a chance to interview for Microsoft, I feel like it would be I would at least get to the second round or third round. I'm not saying I would definitely get a job, but I would at least make some impression, and there would be some interest. That's based on my interview yesterday, right? So for that reason, I need to not only update my resume, and I have an idea, because right now I have my competencies kind of listed, and that's it. But nowhere over there do I put how many years of experience I have in each technology. And having 12 years in PHP, that is a good thing to have on the first page, right? So that is one change that I'm going to make to my resume. On top of that, I will complete my cover letter. And actually, since the cover letter explicitly mentions the company you're applying to, I will write a simple script that will generate my a cover letter for each company that I will be applying to. I was thinking of making that tool open source and publish it, on my website or on my infrastructure. And I might do that. And if I do, I will record the sessions. I'll keep it all public. But that will be that is my plan. So my next application to Microsoft will be, hopefully, at least someone will look at it, because I don't think they looked at it even last time. Maybe not, or maybe they're not actually hiring. They just want to have a big pool of candidates. I've heard that is the case in many. In many cases, that is the deal. They are listing the job position, but they are not actually looking to fill that position. They just want to gather a lot of candidates for future. Could be, I have no idea. But on top of that, I did get a inquiry. I told you guys about that I got inquiry from two recruiters, and that's directly from the companies, right? So it's not the third-party recruiting company, it's the actual company. And I sent my resume to both, and one of those responded and want to have a phone call on Tuesday, early in the morning. Well, early, 9:30. That's not very early in my book, but that's early enough that I am happy with that. I'm happy with that hour. So we'll see how that goes, but that position is a hybrid position in Atlanta, meaning 3 days a week I have to travel to the office through wonderful Atlanta traffic. Now, if they're up north, that's cool. If they're down south, that's awful. That, on top of that, you have to calculate the cost of gas, cost of maintenance on your car, occasional issues with the car. It changes the math a lot, unfortunately. So also it needs to make sense, it needs to make sense financially. So say I'm aiming for $130,000 a year, which that means that if I get this job, or if I am considered for this job, the hybrid position, I need to calculate in all that cost, which means now I need to make $145,000 a year, right? Because I'm going to be putting, a few $100 a month in the gas tank alone, plus the maintenance on the car. That needs to be calculated in, and it needs to make financial sense to me. That is also a lot of time wasted commuting back and forth. Honestly, just to do the job that I can do from home just as well, if not better. But hey, it is what it is. If I have to commute to the office, I'm gonna be commuting to the office. It does have its good sides. It's not all bad. Obviously, I'm kind of focusing on the downsides of that. But the great side is, offices come with perks like food, coffee, and all that stuff. I drink coffee nowadays. I kind of stopped for like a year or two, and now I'm drinking coffee again. So, the same with food. I don't have to make breakfast. I just go to the office and eat over there. Plus, you get to meet people in person. It's kind of a different structure to your day when you have to actually get in your car and drive somewhere. You get a change of scenery. It doesn't really bother me much because I just kind of got used to it, I guess. But it can you can get very depressed when you have no change of scenery. You know, I wake up, I sit in this chair, and spend pretty much all day in this chair. Maybe I'll drive to the store and back, and that's it. And go to bed and rinse and repeat. It's very monotonous, and it's probably not good for your mental health. I wouldn't think. I don't I don't see any repercussions of that. I don't feel like I need to get out of here, like I need to go somewhere. It doesn't seem to bother me. It seems to work for me. Or at least I don't see those repercussions of spending your whole life in one chair in one room. But maybe it does have some impact on me. You know. So that is kind of a you know different different kind of a structure to your day when you get to leave. You spend 8 hours or 9 hours in the office. Then maybe after work, you go with your coworkers for a drink, or you eat lunch. You eat lunch together. You go to some place for lunch. It's these are nice benefits. So that's a big upside to it as well. A little more diversity to your day. As I said, I don't feel like it has an impact on me. I don't feel like it's bad for me. I don't feel like it, right? I don't know if it is or is not. But I have found myself, especially lately in the last few months, I found myself really tired, like tired all the time. I'm always tired, you know, and maybe that is the repercussion of just having the lifestyle like this, just spending it in one place, right? This is where I work. This is where I live. This is where I'm with my family, and I'm with the family all day, every day. It might be better if I disappear for 10 hours, 3 days a week, right? Traveling to the office, then I have a chance to miss my family. you know. Maybe that would be good for me. It is, in any case, it is rather exciting. Um, and I'm kind of ready for some kind of change. Um, well, the benefit of remote work is obviously um, the ability to the flexibility, maybe not the ability to plain old flexibility. I can go somewhere for a week and I can still be at work every day, and still have the change of scenery. I rarely actually do that, but I used to. At least not going too far. I have family 2 hours away, so sometimes we go over there for maybe a few days, maybe a weekend and few days of the week, and I have to be at work. That's fine, and 8 9 o'clock I'll sit at the computer and do my stuff, and that's not always 8 hours that I need to spend to get my stuff done. Sometimes I'll get it done in 5 hours, sometimes in 3 hours, and the rest of the day is mine. In the office, you don't have that ability because it's gotta be 8 hours, and it doesn't matter if you have stuff to do or not. It's gotta be 8 hours, which is fair. I have no problem with that, but lack of flexibility, right? And I think the days are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I would prefer probably to switch it up a bit, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, to have Friday from home. But what do I actually need it for? I don't really need it for anything. So as long as the money makes sense, I would definitely go for the hybrid position. And again, it's on top of all these maybe negative sides of it, those limitations that come with, and extra costs that come with traveling to the office. It is exciting. It is. I haven't worked in the office in many years now, like about 4 years. You know, so I would definitely enjoy that for the first few months, and then we would see, because maybe I'm just not cut out for it anymore. Traveling to the office. This is, after all, this whole profession is a young man game, young people's game, and it has been. But back then I was a young man as well, and now I'm not exactly anymore. So, well, alrighty. Well, that is the update of my job search at the moment. It is looking up. Today is the day 25th. So at least I have something after a month. Now there's no way I would beat my record from last time. Last time I found a job in a month. So now it's considering that call the month a 31-day period. So I'm like only 6 days away from that deadline of a month. So there's no way I'm gonna find a job in a month. But if I find a job in 2 months, I'm still gonna consider that a win, considering the what do you call it? Considering the conditions of the market that is right now, I would consider that a great win. And even if I find it after 3 months, I'm still gonna be happy, Now, when the great feedback I got from this interview kind of reminded me of the feedback I got when I got hired in the previous company. I interviewed with a director of engineering, the product manager, the team leader on the team I would join, and CTO for people. And the feedback I got after I got an offer from them, the feedback I got from the director of engineering was that I managed to impress every person I talked to. Great feedback to receive, definitely. But again, that's only if I get a chance to actually talk to someone. That's when I can shine. It happens. It's not always my day, but if it aligns, if the stars align, and it is my day, and it is the good position, and everything else makes sense, I can interview well. So using that, I know exactly what I have to do to improve on my results, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. So we'll see what that is going to be. If you guys are in the same position, come join my Slack, or not Slack, the Discord. The link is in the description. We have few people in the same position, on the same boat. The community is great. Everybody supports one another. Everybody's nice. Plus, you get to, if you have issues with the computers or any electronics you might be fixing, it's a good place to get some answers as well. We collectively work on some devices that are broken, and we collectively try to debug and diagnose what's wrong with them. It's a good place. If you want to join, come right in. And I think we're gonna stop with this one here. It's taking a sweet time to get it done, and as you can see I have to replace the bar because yes, indeed I damaged the antenna while removing the screen. As you can see, it happens even to people that removed tons of these. So if you're thinking of fixing these for money, it's pretty tough. Well, anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate you, and I shall see you in the next one.